Alright guys, LicousKid here from ClimaxCombo. This video is set review for the first extra booster in Love Live Season 2 extra booster. In this video I'm just going to be talking about all the R's and my opinion on them, and I'm just going to go through the worthwhile comments to mention, because going through all the cards would just take too much time, and honestly there's no point. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to be going over the R's in the set and the worthwhile comments in my opinion. And do keep in mind, this is day one of me just after opening packs. I haven't actually played with them, so you know, my opinion will probably change in the future, but as of right now, this is what I think of these cards. So to start off is the 1-0 Honoka. She does combo with this card. This is stock 1 soul. When you play this Climax, get a yellow character, put it into your stock. All your characters get plus 1 soul. This Honoka combos with this. This is a 105k. When she attacks with this Climax, she can pay 1, clock yourself 1 damage. If you do, this card gets 7k, so she hits 12k before assist, and your opponent cannot use Encore, including hand Encore, clock Encore, pay 3 Encore, etc, etc. This combo is honestly, I guess it's okay, just because like Honoka will get pretty much guaranteed kill something at level 1, and your opponent can't Encore it, and you know, a lot of decks do run like a lot of Encore during level 1. So it's honestly not bad, but I don't think it has any space in Love Live decks, just because there are better Climaxes to run than the stock 1 soul, and without it, Honoka is pretty weak. And honestly, this Climax combo is kind of heavy because this is a -1 hand. You do pay out 1 stock. I guess the stock is free because you get this card gives you a stock, so it pays for itself. But still, just like losing 1 hand size, clocking yourself with damage, it's all right. But you know, like I said, Love Live is too tight on Climaxes in my opinion for this card to be used. So yeah, Honoka, okay, nah, I wouldn't run it. Next up is the 0-0 Kotori, probably one of the more interesting cards in the set. This card on play gives 1,000 power to something, including herself, so you can pump her 1k. And she is a runner, meaning that during the start of your opponent's attack phase, she can move to an empty slot. However, hers is a little conditional. During the start of your opponent's attack phase, you can put the top card of your deck into the waiting room, and if that card is level 0, then she can move to an open slot in the front row. Yeah, so it is a runner, and the runners are always they're accepted as pretty good, but this one is a bit conditional because you do have to hit a level 0, and that in itself can be pretty difficult. It's a lot more difficult than other runners in other sets. However, I believe that even if you get this Kotori off once, if you are able to successfully run once with this card, I think Kotori pays for itself, and the 1k on play is pretty good because you know, it's a 1k on play, and it can really help with the end game of the Love Live. So overall, I think this Kotori is pretty good, and I'm willing to give this card a shot. So yeah. Next up is the 1-1 Umi, 6k. If you have 3 or more characters, she gets plus 1k, and so she hits 117k, and she also has clock Encore. So if you have 3 or more characters, she's 117k with clock Encore. It's pretty generic. A lot of sets have 117k, clock Encore, hand Encore is one of the two. But you know, they're generally accepted as pretty solid cards, and this is no exception. So overall, this Umi is a solid card. Next up, we have the 117k Vanilla. I don't know what Bushiro is thinking. I think this is an R. We'll just go along. Next up is the 2-1 Lin. It's 2-5 power. However, it is a backup. When you it's a pay 1 2-5 backup. However, it does have another effect. When you use this backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a music character, the battling character gets plus 1k. So this is a conditional 3-5 backup. This is a pretty solid backup, you know, 1 cost. 2-1, 3-5 backups are pretty good. However, if you're running green, I think the 2-1 Nozomi backup from the first set is a lot better than this, just because the on-play effect of the 2-1 Nozomi from the first set can really help you with Neko and other cards like that. So if you're running red, yellow, blue, I think this is a good one-of card. However, if you're running red, yellow, green, I think the Nozomi is better. However, it's still nice to have this card. Next is the 1-0 Maki. She is 5k. However, she gets plus 500 for every level 0 on your field. So if you have 2 in the front and 2 in the back, then she is a 107k before assist. This card is, you know, cards like these are okay. Like there's one Devil Survivor 2, Gargantia, and Idolmaster. However, this card doesn't work very well in the set, because cards like these are generally really good in a set that relies on a level 0 assist. However, Love Live doesn't really rely on level 0 assist. They usually rely on the level 1 assist. I'm talking about the 1-0 Umi Brainstorm / Global Assist. And, you know, a lot of decks just run 2 of those. Not all decks run level 0 assist. And if you're not running 2 level 0 assists in the back, then you don't get the full potential of this card. And this card is just outclassed by the 1-0 Eddie from the first set. So honestly, this card is not very good. Next up, we have the 2-2 or 0-0 Neko, 1K. She's honestly not very good. She's only here for fan decks. In serious builds, she has no place. But I'll go over what she does anyways. 500 global, 2 Nekos. See right there. Like, do I even have to go on? But I will. And she has another effect. You can pay 2, tap 2 characters, and then choose one of your Neko characters. It gets plus 2k, and the following effect until the end of the turn. When that character reverses an opponent's character, you get to salvage one character from your waiting room. The character doesn't have to be a Neko. However, you do have to pay 2 and tap 2, and then you have to choose a Neko specifically. And there's only 500 global for Nekos, so of course this is only good for Neko fan / waifu decks. So yeah, and I got a sign, which I guess is cool. So whatever. 2-2 Eddie. It's 2-2 8k. It gets 500 per character on the field. So if you have full field before, it says she's 2-2 10k. Honestly, if you're willing to pay 2 stock for a level 2 game, you might as well be running blue. So you could run the 3-2 Maki, because that's better than this, because that's one's already 11k base, and it pluses you. So why pay 2 stock for this when you can play 2 stock for Maki? And this paying 2 stock for this card is honestly not worth it. So overall, this Eddie is not that great. The last R in the set is the 1-0 Nozomi, 6k. On play, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is not a music character, this card must go to rest. Not very good, just because this card is outclassed by the 1-0 Eddie from the first set once again. So this card doesn't really have a place. And honestly, if you want a 1-0 6k, I think the Hanayo from the second set is better, because at least you get to still attack with the Hanayo. However, this one, you lose an attack. You can't even brainstorm with it because it's already rested. So, and she's probably just going to die next turn anyways. So overall, I think this Nozomi is pretty bad. And that is all the R's for the set. Most of them are pretty bad. However, the best card in the set is probably this one right here, and they are both commons. So this is new level 3 for Love Live. It's a 3-2 10k 2 soul. It heals on play, so that's already pretty crazy for a common. It has another effect: on play, you must rest one of your characters. And then her last effect is she combos with the 2k1 soul. When she versus an opponent's character with the 2k1 in play, you can pay cost, which is pay 2, discard, or pay 2, clock yourself 1 damage. If you do, restand this card, and this effect can only be used once per turn. So overall, this card is just really amazing, because it heals, and it's an end game, and cards that both heal and are game ender are generally pretty good, just because they're really easy to splash in your deck, and they're just really versatile. Also, it's yellow. Once again, Love Live's main color is yellow, so once again, really easy to splash. The combos with the 2k1, the 2k1 is really good because it gives extra power to the level 3, allowing it to fill its conditions better. And 2k1 is pretty good climax just because it pays for itself, or when you play it, you get an extra card, so you don't minus yourself with the 2k1 soul. And so 2k1 is pretty good all game. Like, it's not situational, like always kind of good to use it. And yeah, it helps with the level 3, and yeah, just this level 3 is just really amazing. Yeah, you do have to tap one of your characters, which I guess sucks if you are planning to brainstorm that turn. And you can't really play 3 of these out in one turn, because you would have to tap the 2 back row, and then the third one would tap one of the ones in the front row. However, even though with the demerit of tapping one of your characters, the pros vastly outweigh the con. The reason why this has a demerit of tapping one of your characters is because the cost is only pay 2, clock yourself 1 damage. However, the one in Shauna is pay 3, clock yourself 1 damage. That one doesn't have a demerit. However, the 2 stock is just makes this card just really, 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 really good. So overall, this is definitely the best card in the set. And it's worthwhile picking up the boxes just for these. Next up, we have an interesting card. It's a 0-0 Eddie. First of all, she's a Brainstorm. She's a pay 1 tapper, mill 4. Every climax you hit, you get to get a card from your clock, add it to your hand, and clock yourself 1 damage. Generic clock on clock Brainstorm. However, she does have another effect, which is for a more interesting effect. On play, put the top card of your opponent's stock into the waiting room, and then put a card from their stock, or put the top card of their stock to the waiting room, and then choose a card from the waiting room and put it back on top of their stock. So usually you want to play this card before your opponent refreshes. If they have like 1 or 2 cards or 3 cards left in deck, you play the Eddie, you put the top card of their stock to the waiting room, and then you put a climax back on top of their stock. That way you can force them to refresh with 1 less stock by either going for a direct hit, or you force them to pay out the climax by using a backup of some form. Or yeah, pretty much you put them in one of those two situations, and it's your opponent's call if they do want to waste stock and hand size to get that Climax back, or if they want to refresh with 1 less damage, or refresh with 1 less Climax. Either way, it's a win-win situation. So well, the level 0 spot is pretty tight. However, if you can manage to squeeze 1 or 2 of these, then by all means, I mean, it's a very interesting card, and you know, you can go try it out. I haven't tried this card out myself, like I said, it's day 1, but I do think it's a very interesting card, and if you're going to run this, I would only run 1 or 2 of these. Running more than 2 of these is honestly no point, and it's probably going to hurt you more in the long run. Next up, we have the 0-0 Hanayo. She's a pay 1 discard a card, search your deck for a music character added to your hand. It's generic, but the reason why I'm pulling this card out is because it's a pretty good blue level 0. And honestly, blue doesn't have many good level 0s in the set, so having a blue searcher really does help the color count. And lastly is this 1-0 Neko. This is a pretty interesting card. First of all, it's a 1k assist, or it's a 1k backup. And it's really weak because as another effect, when you use this backup, you can pay an extra 2. If you do, choose one of your opponent's character that is higher level than their own level. So pretty much if your opponent has a level 3 while they are level 2, the conditions is filled because they have a character that is higher than their level. So pretty much this card is anti-change. When you use this backup, you choose an opponent's character that is higher level than their own level, and then you put that card into the waiting room, and then they choose a level 0 from their waiting room and put it back onto the field. This is pretty good because when you kill an opponent's changed character, to bring out that changed character, it does cost a lot of hand and stock. And those are really hard to get rid of just because they're a higher power, because of course they're a higher level than you. So having an anti-change is pretty good because you can get rid of those cards. Yeah, your opponent does get a level 0 in return, and the level 0 does come in stand, so they can get an extra stock with it. So they essentially get 4 stock in the turn if they attack properly. But still, well, I guess it is situational if the extra 2 does outweigh the cons. You know, if the pros outweigh the cons, it's a pretty situational card. However, I do think a lot of decks already run change, and having one of these is pretty good just for those situations. And it's a level 1 anti-change, which is pretty crazy because there's a lot of level 1 to 2 changers that are really good, like the Vivid Red and the Rewrite one. And so this card can really help in those matchups. So yeah, overall, Neko is a really interesting card, and I think I'm going to try one of these out and see how it goes. But yeah, that is the set review for the Love Live Extra Booster 2. Honestly, my top 3 cards for this Extra Booster are these 3. Like, definitely top 3 cards right here. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And until next time, guys.